Morning, everybody. My name is Sarah, also known as Weight Watcher, Cape Cod Woman. And it's like I just said morning, and I'm sitting here in my bathrobe in the dark, drinking my very strong cup of coffee, organic, with Zyla and Truvia and Coffee Mate Bliss. So this is in my Fiesta mug. Um, so it's just today is my not doing anything day. Well, I'm working 9 hours, but it's my I'm not walking day. And so I got up and took a shower. And so, there's nothing like having your hair done when you're still in your bathrobe, right? So I was sitting here kind of giggling at the idea of what would I wonder if somebody put this on at 4 in the afternoon, at 8 at night, and had never watched me before, what they would what would they think? If you are watching this for the first time, or if you did get one of my bathrobe times for your first initial visit to my channel here at YouTube, I'm just wondering, like, who is this whack job, and is she ever going to get to the Weight Watcher part of the video? Yes, indeed, I will. And Weight Watchers has brought me here. And somebody was asking me the other day, do you ever talk about how you got here? And I did do a my journey up until now video early on, a few months ago. It's now 2015. I have passed my year. I am in maintenance, and it's a very slippery slope. For those of you that are lucky to be here, you know what I'm talking about. It is summer. It is Cape Cod, and I went to my grandson's birthday party yesterday. And yes, I did have a piece of cake. And yes, I did count the points. And yes, it's the beginning of my weeklies. And yes, I usually don't touch my weeklies unless it is an event like this. And I have another event at the end of this week, which is a going away party for a manager of where I work. And she's been there for 22 years. It's going to be a pizza party and a make your own Sunday party. So because I have my gluten-free pizza that night, as per usual, I won't partake in the pizza, but I will treat myself to a make-your-own Sunday. I have not had anything like that for months, and so I will count the points. So my weeklies will be eaten up this week for the first time in my Weight Watcher history. Okay. So, anyway, it was funny being at my grandson's birthday, because I did see myself there as the little fat girl that I was, and I'm sure she was as ready for the cake as I was. Fortunately, it was a 2-hour birthday party, so after 1 hour, the birthday cake came out. So, for those of you that are foodies, you might understand. So I call myself a foodie. I call myself a compulsive overeater, and I have known binges. So I think that what got me here, I'm 64, almost 65. And so as a little girl, I substituted food for love, and until I found alcohol and boys. But food has always been, the be-all, end-all. At the end of the day, at the beginning of the day, when I'm happy, I would eat. When I was sad, I would eat. When it was available, I would eat. When it wasn't available, I would find it to eat it. And, as some of you have grown to know me, I started off babysitting. I grew up in a very dysfunctional alcoholic home. Okay, here's the real story. And I was adopted, and I was an only child. And by today's standard, if I was adopted today, they would have removed me from the house. So it was kind of a house of horrors. So at 9 years old, I was parentified, as we say in the therapeutic world, meaning that I was definitely parenting my parents with no skills, and who were parenting me. And so I began to babysit, and I began to be the hero for all of these young mothers in the neighborhood that needed me. And because I was always available, because I was always scavenging food. It's true. I would just look for food. It was very sad, actually. But when you're a fat little needy child, you're not seen as sad. You're seen as a real pain in the ass. And so I said, well, how can I get food and not be a pain in the ass and be the little heroine, and not heroin, drug, heroine. And so at 9 o'clock, at 9 a.m., 9 a.m., at 9 years old, I began babysitting. And when they napped, I ate. Or when I put them to bed, I ate. And I would just, I mean, you know how sometimes you've blocked a lot of stuff. So the further I get into my food recovery, the more I see how I was. Of course, I was addicted to sugar. I was addicted to white flour products. I was addicted to junk. There was nothing. There was no food in our house. And so I was addicted to anything junky. And my best friend, this is so funny, my best friend lived in where the poor people live, and yet they had a full fridge. She had deli cuts from Stop and Shop for sandwiches. She had all kinds of chips. She had soda. Soda in my house, ginger ale, was if you were sick, and then it was if my parents were sober enough to go get it, right? So there wasn't a lot of care and feeding going on. And so soda and chips and all of the stuff that we know now, but we're talking 60s at this point. And so how pathetic is this? You choose your best friend, because of the food. And she was being raised by her father, and they would go shopping together at Stop and Shop and buy all these goodies. And at lunch, she would bring this production. If you've ever seen what I bring for lunch with all my little glass jars, I guess maybe that's when I got the idea of bringing a little of this and a little of that. And she was skinny. Isn't that weird? She was skinny. And so I loved overnights there when I'd sleep over, especially on a school night, because then the next day I could bring one of those, oh my God, bagged lunches that was like so divine. When I did partake in a school lunch, you know where I was. I was with the pizza, the American chop suey, the macaroni and cheese, the chips, the Peggy Lawton cookies, back then there was no soda in schools and there was no chocolate milk in schools. So I probably had, 3 containers of whole milk. It's just what I did. And so my brown cells were set, right? So I was set to be a very chubby child. And the best I could do for a sport was the field hockey thing. And so I probably weighed at my highest 175 pounds. I was like this solid little thing. And because, of course, I'm young, I didn't have the jiggles and the wiggles. It was like this solid, I could wear sleeveless things. I could wear short shorts because it was like solidly packed. And so that was then. And then I became like a teenager, and it was the same sort of thing. And I had to be funny because I couldn't really get a guy. I put on great parties, but, I was always the one, the hostess with, that put on great parties. But I really never had the stick and stay type of boyfriend until almost at the end of high school. And he didn't really stick and stay. But anyway, so I married the first young man that would marry me. And there's one woman that just said she's from Georgetown, and this is for you. He was from Topsfield. And so, we got married, and I was still a chubette. I think my wedding gown was a size 14, and I was solid, And it's funny because when I see young women today that are solid, I have one who's a client, and she's got that solid thing, and I'm just thinking, oh, sister, when it starts to get jiggly, enjoy it now, because you can still wear the sleeveless, you can still wear shorts. The thighs aren't, they're large, but they are solid meat. The cellulite hasn't like settled in yet because you're still young. And so in my early 20s, I became aware of health food. and I would go to the health food store. I had my first child at 28 and my second at 31. So in my early 20s, I entered OA, and I was at this